All right. Um, Hi, everybody. This is our first game of City of Mist. I'm Maeve, and this is our first recording for Foxtail Games as well. City of Mist is a really awesome sort of urban fantasy meets mythology meets like Sin City kind of noir style murder mysteries. And we'll be playing with four characters tonight. We have one other player who will be joining us next time. So if you want to introduce yourself, we'll start with Kyle.
So I'm Kyle. Those of you that are in the Malifaux world should know me at this point, but otherwise, good to meet you. I'll be playing Father Williams, who is a little off-hinged, but he is well-meaning.
All right, Nick.
Yeah, how you guys doing? My name's Nick. My character name is Lucius. He is kind of a young kid with think Loki meets kind of this noir world. Kind of a trickster, kind of a swindler, and always trying to get ahead of people. But that's kind of the character I'm going for.
All right, DJ. You're muted, DJ.
You're muted.
Fabulous. Thank you. How y'all doing? My name is DJ. My character I'll be playing is named Tobias. He is a loud, proud, but ultimately kind of lost man who's just gotten out of prison after being framed for a robbery, and he's trying to reestablish his life while pursuing justice for himself and the people around him.
All right, and that leaves Aiden. Who are you playing today, Aiden? And you are muted. So.
Yes. I am Aiden. I'm kind of new to the streaming scene. I've been playing for a while. Um, and I'll be playing Rory. He is a down on his luck boxer that is a transplant from the South, so you may hear some of his accent come through at some points.
All right, awesome. So, our scene tonight is going to open in a part of the city called Old Town. This is a stomping ground for pretty much everybody in the crew. Old Town is a mix of everything old and everything new. It's the place where the oldest parts of the city got built up on top of the newest parts of the city. And it's just like they keep adding to things, but everything new becomes old at almost like an alarming rate. Even the brand new strip malls and things that they put in feel older than they should be. Even the gentrified galleries and things like that on the north side are already starting to have that creeping feeling of just being down and dilapidated. That's just part of the charm of Old Town. And we're going to open the scene in the gym, in Rory's gym. Rory, tell us about your gym real quick.
My gym has kind of seen some better days, but it's not quite dilapidated. But there is a tough as nails, very short, petite Latina. When you first walk in, her name's Mia. She actually runs the gym more so than Rory ever does. Um, and you see them having a conversation, and Rory's kind of got his feet kicked up on the desk, laid back. She's trying to get him to get up, and they've seem to be old friends. You hear a little bit of bag work in the background from a couple of boxers going at it. You see everybody from your average Joe to someone that's trying to be more professional,
All
um,
right.
working out of this gym.
Well, Tobias, what brings you to the gym on a Sunday evening?
Need a place to work out, and they let me work for free. So I've known Rory for a little while now, and after getting out and realizing that something I actually kind of missed from being incarcerated was PT, we talked for a little bit, and he kind of lets me slide on membership fees to come and work out at the gym. So I'm one of the people in the back doing some bag work. I've told him and Miss Mia repeatedly that you're not going to make any money if you keep letting folks in for free, but I'm also not complaining.
Speaking of letting folks in for free, you guys are kind of in the back of the gym. You know, you're working on the bags, or you're chatting along. Nothing's typical Sunday night. When one of the guys comes up and he goes, Mr. Roy, there's somebody up at the front. I think you better come take a look at it." And he looks pretty upset, like something's clearly not right. What do you do?
Another complaining customer. Great. I told you to let him win the first time. All right, I'm coming. He stretches, gets up, walks towards the front of the door. He's probably in a kind of dirty old wife beater and some like faded boxing shorts, pairs like penny loafers. And he kind of walks up and sizes up his opponent, kind of figuring whether or not he can actually take him if he needs to.
Tobias, do you follow him or do you keep going with your routine?
In the back, you can hear one more hit, and the back kind of stops, and I'm just going to lean over. Rory, you're good, man? You off your post?
Maybe. I don't know what's going on yet.
When you head to the front,
start moving way towards the front at that point.
when you head to the front, there is a crowd that's already set up, and they're all around this young man who is practically falling out on the floor. He looks beat to hell, but you recognize him. He's this very stocky, very short kid that you've been working with. You know that he's part of one of the local gangs, and you've been trying your best to just like get him a little routine and also try to get him on the straight lace. But you also understand that some of these kids join the gang just to get a couple meals a day at this point. Like he's not a bad kid. He just kind of gets stuck in the wrong parts. But this man looks beat all to hell, and he is barely conscious on the floor. Someone has already got him a glass of water and is trying to get him to drink something, but he just keeps going, "Oh, where's Mr. Roy? Where's Mr. Roy?" And you can see that his eyes are already puffed up from a couple black eyes.
Move, let him through.
Let him breathe. All right, kid. What's going on?
He kind of grabs at your shirt for a second, like, "Oh, Mr. Roy, I need to talk to you. It's bad. Can we talk somewhere?"
Yeah, come on, kid. Let's talk in my office.
Okay. You lead him back to your office, and he's hobbling. He's clearly just had a bad night, and he kind of flops down in the chair. He still has his drink and his water, and he's kind of like slowly sipping it. And he goes, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, Mr. Roy. We're in trouble. I'm in trouble. I gotta hide. I've gotta hide. I've just gotta hide.
What do you mean you're in trouble? Look, I told you to stay away from those gangs. They ain't nothing but trouble, and they're gonna end up dead.
I don't look. We were out doing our business, just checking the turf, that sort of thing, and then this I don't know what. It was a ghost. It was a ghost, and then it was dark, and then everyone was screaming, and then I just wanted to get away, and he kind of stops for a second, and he kind of cocks his head to the side a second, and he goes, it doesn't make any sense. Never mind. But this girl, she was there, and there was darkness everywhere, and everybody was screaming, and then I just ran, and I ended up here.
Well, now you know there ain't nothing like a ghost around here. Those are stories that your mama told you.
He goes, "Mr. Roy, I know what I saw. It was ghost, and there were these monsters coming out of the shadows, and I just wanted to get away, and the next thing I know,"
Now,
and he stops
kid,
again, and he kind of looks at you, and he goes, "It sounds stupid. I don't want to say it. It sounds dumb. You're gonna think I'm stupid. You're gonna think I'm crazy."
Well, I think you might be on drugs, but don't let it fool you. I'd messed around back in the 80s.
He goes, "I turned into a cat." into an alley cat. I just wanted to get away. And the next thing I knew, I had 4 legs and I was just like running down the alleys as fast as possible. And I knew I had to get here. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I, how did that even happen?
And maybe you just hallucinated or like had a associative break. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but look, get some rest. I don't have much, but there's a cot in the back that you might need to stay and rest for the night, and then we'll figure something out in the morning.
He goes, yeah, she's going to come after me. She's going to get me too. I need to hide. She's going to get me.
Well, you can lay low here. I mean, there's enough people around here that'll take care of you.
And then he just kind of collapses right there in the chair that he's in, like just a couple seconds later, and he is out like a light.
Yeah, I take one of the old robes that I had that when I would go walk down the aisle, and I throw it on top of him, cover him up a little bit.
All right, and Tobias, you kind of walked in towards the end of it here in this speech of cats and ghost girls and all of this sort of stuff.
Ghost? What now? What was he talking about?
Well, he thinks he's seen a ghost, and he thinks that he turned himself into an alley cat and ran away.
Man,
Now,
something else.
I heard tell back in the day of things like this, but they're all myths. They're all high or crazy or something.
Mm. And you guys would know. You guys know that you all have your own special abilities. You know that, and you've known for a couple months now that like other people don't seem to pick up on it unless they also have their own special abilities. So it's not entirely out of your wheelhouse that this could be possible, but it is weird for this kid who you haven't known to have any abilities to be able to remember it. You know that when you've used your own abilities, people tend to pass it off as something they, either they just ignore it entirely or they have some sort of rational explanation for it. But this kid, he's never had these sort of this sort of hallucinations before, these sort of like problems.
I don't know, Roar. We've seen a lot of things, but ghosts are a new one on me. You want me to carry him to the back?
Yeah, go ahead and take him to the back. I've got a couple of cots back there just in case. Lay low, just in case somebody comes looking for him. We ain't heard nothing. We ain't seen nothing.
You want me to stay tonight, keep an eye on him?
It'd be nice. I got a couple of microwave burritos for you if you need it.
Bet. All right. So I will carry him to one of the cots in the back. And
when you go to lay him down, he kind of rolls over and just for like a second, you see like he drops something on the ground, and it looks like a small piece of paper.
So he said he dropped it. I'll pick it up and see if there's just inspect what it is.
It's a piece of paper that has some weird like writing. The edges are kind of like burnt. It looks like it's part of a bigger piece of paper, but on it are written 2 lines that almost look like they're a stanza from a poem of some sort. And it says, "Little white flowers will never awaken you." And the edges appear to be like burnt or torn or something's happened to them. This piece of paper looks pretty old, and the kid is fully passed out at this point.
Well, I'm not gonna get anything else on him. I'll take the paper, come back up to the office. Hey man, he dropped this. I have no idea what it means, but he was holding on to it until I put him down on the bed.
Yeah. He takes the piece of paper and kind of does the old man like trying to get his vision from
Yeah.
somewhere under his robes. He takes out some old reading glasses. They haven't seen the best of best, and kind of tries to quasi read it and see what he can piece together if he can read anything.
Yeah, once again, it just seems to be it's just 2 lines out of it looks like it's written from maybe an old poetry book or something, and it just says, "Little white flowers will never awaken you."
Man, I didn't pay attention to school. I don't know what this is. Maybe Father Williams knows something about it. He's a little more effeminate type.
It looks like it looks like a part out of a poem. That's about the best I got. Maybe we should look up Father Williams. He probably would be able to help us a little bit better.
Yeah, and you know that this kid is not a poetry reader either. Like, he's a street kid. He doesn't read. Poetry's not his thing.
Do we know if he actually reads to begin with?
I mean, yeah, you've helped him with homework before. Like, before he dropped out of school, you definitely helped him with homework a little bit. So, he's got a decent high school education. But so how do you guys usually get in touch with Father William when it's time to?
Usually me, I'll either ring the church, or if I know that it's like a Sunday or a Wednesday, I'll go after service when it just before it ends, and probably stand outside.
All right. So do you guys want to go ahead and make your way there? Okay. So Lucius and Father Williams, why? Well, first of all, we know why Father Williams is at the church. Lucius, what brought you to the church on a Sunday night?
I think he was bored. He was bored, looking for company. I don't see him being much of a believer, but he is always looking for something to do, something to see, something to talk about, and just kind of meandered over in that to the church there.
Okay. So yeah, it's it's in the evening, so evening services are done. Things are basically getting cleaned up and ready for the next day. What's your routine look like, Kyle, as you're finishing up a Sunday evening?
Sure, since it was the busiest day, it's the most people, so it's probably actually just a lot of actual cleaning, unlike most of the days. So probably just going through everything, just doing like sweeping, mopping, kind of like the manual, just cleaning up once everybody's gone, tidying things up so I don't have to worry about anything for the rest of the week.
Okay. Well, as you're doing your cleaning up, Lucius kind of saunters in. What is and we'll go back, and when the other characters enter the scene, we'll do a little description because we kind of forgot to do that. But what does Lucius look like as he wanders in?
Lucius is in. He's a slender kid, so he's got some baggy pants, maybe a kind of a heavy jacket, kind of military colors, dark greens, dark browns, and grays, and some military boots, and just kind of straggles on in, kind of hopping back and forth, a little bit of a pep in his step.
Okay. All right. And Father Williams, what does he look like, and what does he do as he sees this kid kind of wander in?
So as far as how I look, I'm pretty young. I'm still kind of mid-20s, so I'm trying to get my feet on the ground. Kind of standard pastor attire, so kind of like black button-up shirt, black pants, but then I have my collar on. And so I see, how old is your character? What is it?
Oh,
sorry.
Lucius.
Nick.
Yeah.
19.
You're 19.
20.
Okay, so you're pretty young. Okay. Is your character super chatty and like kind of get into people's business kind of person, or are you more shy and kind of keep to yourself?
No, he's definitely more boisterous.
Okay.
And you're going to sense that from far away, like that.
Okay.
What's this kid doing? Why is he?
No, I think at this point I know this kid, and when I see Lucius, I'm just like, I'm still polite, but when I see him, it's that mental like, oh man, I just wanted to have a nice quiet night, and I know he's going to be rambling all night and talking to me, but like
Does
I just
Lucius
go
check
with
the
it.
collection plates as he walks in?
I don't think I'm that paranoid of that sort of thing of him, but it's more of just like I'm trying to think. It's like how can I put him to work because I know he's got a lot of energy and maybe I need to burn it out so he's not going to be here all night. Yeah, so I can't get any work done. So I see Lucius and kind of say, "Oh, how are you doing? How are things?"
Yeah, doing well, doing well. What do you need? What do you need done around here? What do we got going on tonight?
Oh, excellent. Well, there's a lot of cleaning. If you want to go through all the pews and straighten everything up, I got some stuff in the back to take care of. Keep you busy, and then yeah, like just swing on by after you've taken care of all that, and then we can have some stuff I could probably get you working on, or we can chat if there's anything you want to talk about.
Do I get some of that wine afterward? We talked about it. Do I get some
No,
of that
no,
wine?
yes, we talked about it. No, it is not for drinking purposes unless you're communing.
So he kind of shakes his head and he starts cleaning up the putting the hymnals back up and assuming what brand of it is, but doing his thing, cleaning up.
You are doing your thing, cleaning up, Lucius, and it started to rain pretty steadily outside. You can hear the rain kind of dripping off the windows, and you happen to look through at the big oak tree that is sitting in the side corner, kind of in the like side graveyard beside of the church, and there's someone out there. They look like they're maybe slumped up against the tree. It's not uncommon for a homeless person to like, lean up against the tree and fall asleep or, but it's pouring rain out. So it's very strange that this there's a person out there in the rain. What does Lucius do when he sees this person?
I think he'd keep his eye on him a little bit and kind of is the father still in the same room?
Yeah.
I would kind of, hey, father, come check this out
Yeah.
real quick. There's potentially a guy out here that might need some assistance. I don't know if he's waiting on you or if you want me to keep an eye on him.
Let's go ask to see. I mean, the church is open to everybody, so I'd probably head outside to go see
Okay.
who it is.
Yeah, and you wander out through, and this graveyard is it's strange because like when you inherited the church, you got a church that was built on an older church. So it was probably like one of the Catholic churches when the city was first founded. And it's kind of, gone through a couple iterations. And the graveyard itself is also like there are, very old graves, there are very new graves. But this big oak tree has been there for the majority of them. It's huge. It's probably several hundred years old. And as you come up, you see that there's a person slumped up against the tree. Their head is down. It's very possible that they are sleeping or that something is very wrong with them. They don't respond as you walk up to them.
Okay. I will just kind of cursory looking at them. Do they look like they're okay? Like they're just sleeping, or does it look like do they have any obvious signs of like they're hurt?
They do look pretty. You can see some obvious bruises. They're wearing a short sleeve shirt. You can see that they're wearing a lot of like the local gang colors for the gang call themselves the Bricks. You can see that he's got these tattoos up and down his arms, and there are big like splotchy bruises all over the arms. His face is kind of covered by his hair. He's got this like long scraggly hair, so his face is sort of covered. There's no blood in particular, but it does look very like beat all to hell.
So I would touch his shoulder and be like, "Son, are you okay?"
And when
See
you
if I
do,
can
he
like
rolls forward.
okay, like a death slump roll
Yeah.
forward. Okay.
Yeah.
I would check his pulse, see if he is alive or not.
Okay. Do me a favor. Let's do our first roll of the day. So go to your character sheet, and you'll find moves.
Mhm.
And what you're going to look for are the moves are going to be investigate is what you're going to look for.
Okay.
You can use any of your theme tags that you think would work. for the situation. So you're trying to like find something out about this guy.
Okay. Kind of glancing through. I do tend to drown myself in others' problems.
Okay,
So this is somebody else's problem. So I probably have gotten involved with some of the gang stuff before, so I know a thing or two about these gangs
Mm-hmm.
and like who's who, which is actually technically another thing. So I could say I know who's who. So if it does involve somebody else, like in particular, like who would do this to
Okay.
this gang?
I
think
allow
those
that.
two would make sense.
All right. So when you click execute move, it'll say add a bonus.
Okay.
So you want to add 2 to that bonus.
Okay. And then just confirm.
All right. So that's a total of 6. A 6 is unfortunately not. It is a miss. So as you're going through, just kind of like trying to figure out what's wrong with this kid. He's dead, Jim. That's about the best you can get, especially in the rain. It's cold, it's rainy. Anything that you would probably want to find is sort of washed away on this guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would get Lucius's help, and I'd carry him into the church, and basically look to call somebody to like a morgue, or probably you'd call a paramedic first to confirm death and time of death and all that. So I'd be looking into doing that.
All right. So you call 911.
I wouldn't call 911. Wouldn't be emergency. I'd call more, but like the police or whatever to have them send somebody.
Okay. All right. Well, about the time that you are on the phone, do you leave him there or do you bring him inside?
We would have brought him inside, get him out of the rain. So
okay. So Lucius, as you're bringing this guy inside, like he's a young guy. You can tell he's definitely probably about your age. And there are just bruises. I mean, it looks like someone just like tossed this guy down a cliff. Is kind of like, if you had to guess what would have happened to him, it's pretty terrible looking. What are you?
If I get an opportunity away from the father, when the father goes and calls whoever he needs to call, being how Lucius is the way he is, he's gonna look for stuff on his person. He's gonna check pockets and kind of in the
all right. So roll
modest
me,
most way.
Roll me your own investigation. But I want you to do it at -1 because you are near to start, because you are near Father Williams and you're definitely like, he's not going to be happy that you're doing this. So roll and then you can add whatever tags you want, but you're at a -1 to start.
Yeah, can't really.
Impossible thievery would probably be a good one. You have police procedures.
Thievery.
Well,
where's that one?
Oh, it's on your tags, on your subversion.
Oh, yes, that sounds fantastic.
Yep.
So how would I activate that?
You just, when you click on investigate under the core moves directly above your themes, you hit execute move. You're gonna just hit a straight move because you're +1 from that tag invalidated. Or invalidated my -1. So you're just rolling it straight.
Perfect. All right.
Okay, so you got a 10. 10 is amazing. So you get 1 clue. So you now have a specific clue, which means you can ask me a question about the investigation and I will give you a relevant answer. So what question do you want to ask as you go through his pockets?
At this point, I'm looking for stuff that's valuable. So I think he's oblivious to what's really going on. So I think he's is there anything of value in his pockets, monetary value, not necessarily investigative value?
Gotcha. He's got a wallet. It's probably got like $20 in it. He doesn't really have much else of value on him outside of like that wallet. But as you're pulling out the wallet, a small piece of paper does fall to the floor. It looks like it's torn out of a notebook or something.
So Lucius is being Lucius. He's pulls the wallet, puts the 20 in his pocket, folds the wallet, puts it on the guy's body again, picks up the paper, and
Okay.
and reads it.
All right. So the paper is a kind of torn and looks like the edges might have been burnt somehow. And it has cursive writing. It looks like, once again, it looks like it might have come from a poem of some sort. And it has the 2 lines, "My heart and I have decided to end it all."
Father, I found something.
I hurry over. Yeah. Kind of finishing up the phone call and then walk back over. What did you find, and why were you going through his pockets?
Father, I got his ID. I know who he is now. But I found this paper. It says, "My heart and I have decided to end it all." Is that right, Maeve?
Yes. And it's 2 lines, "My heart and I," and then the other line is, "have decided to end it all."
Oh, gotcha. So it's broken. It's a
Mhm.
cut off, 2 lines broken. Okay.
I kind of look at it if you're holding up the paper and kind of glance, and I am not super well educated as far as like that sort of thing, as far as like poetry. But would this be a phrase that I would have seen or heard anywhere, or is this just random? Like, okay,
Let's see. Give me a little background on who. Actually, we'll do it this way. Well, I kind of like this. Roll me a change the game.
change the game. Okay,
And you can add any tag you want to, specifically to thinking about like memory.
memory. Okay. As far as memories, let's see. I have Eldritch Knowledge. I don't know if that would apply.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what kind of where this would fall under. As far as like just like my past,
mhm.
yeah, probably not much other
Okay.
than like unless it's religiously tied.
It is not religiously tied, so give me just a
Then,
straight
yeah.
roll and let's see what happens.
Okay, can't be worse than my first roll.
No, that's actually really good. So you get 1 juice, and you can see on the roll there, you can spend your juice to gain the following effects. You can either create a story tag. So this will create a tag that will kind of like help out or hinder like the scene effectively.
Mhm.
You can burn a power tag or a story tag. If you do that, you get a success automatically. So you'll be able to kind of like know what's going on completely, but you do lose that tag for the rest of the session. So
Mhm.
you would lose one of your tags for just the session. Or you can give or reduce a status to other people. There's no other people in the scene at the moment,
Mhm.
so that is entirely up to you.
Okay. So I think I will go for creating a story tag.
Okay.
And so, since it sounds kind of tragic, my heart and I have decided to end it all. The phrasing sounds familiar. I don't know exactly where it came from, but the phrasing sounds very familiar to like a chant from a ritual from like a cultist kind of
Mhm.
point of view. And I'm like, it's not exactly verbatim, but it's like a word off. I'm like, that's weird. it may be coincidence. It may have nothing to do with that, but that's weird that would be so close.
It is. And about the time you are doing that, and you're creating this tag and you're doing all this, is about the time that Aiden and or that Rory and Tobias walk in. So what do they see you doing? First of all, you've got Lucius huddling over a body. You've got Father Williams reading. How does it look as they walk in the door?
So I'm sure he's just kind of Lucius is just looking at the body and kind of looking up at me while I'm reading this. I'm kind of like holding a paper. I'm just like kind of scratching the back of my neck. I feel like I get nervous ticks when I'm reminded of my past. Like I do like kind of quirky things. I'm just like uncomfortable. I kind of like shift a lot. I don't hold still. Like normally I seem to be very composed. Pastors tend to be very like calm. But like I start getting a lot more twitchy and like a little nervous, I guess is the best way to phrase it. And I'm kind of like, and then I hear the door open and kind of look up. Like I kind of like glance up because now I'm on edge a little bit. And I'm just like,
All right.
I just
So these two obviously probably pretty solid guys. Like you guys
Mhm.
definitely know each other, but Rory and Tobias, give us a physical description of your characters.
I guess I'll go. So Rory is a not very tall man. He is probably about 5'6", 5'7", but if you ask him, he's 5'10". He's still very built solidly, but he's not as muscular as he once was back in his fighting days. He tends to carry around a cigar a lot. He thinks he's getting something special like the Cubans, but they're really,
Does he have a cigar as he walks in the church?
I mean, he probably does. It's probably not lit at this point because he probably like put it out on the steps, but he probably does have one like in his mouth. And yeah, he's gonna go. Hey, Father, I thought you already knew the last rites. That's what you do, right?
I kind of look. What last right? Oh yeah. 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 I just kind of seemed a little lost and confused for a second. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I kind of put the I kind of just hand the paper back to Lucius, and I go probably go grab a nearby Bible, and I like kind of bring it out and pull out a passage that seems fitting for the moment, and start reading over it. And kind of giving last words. And once I finish up, kind of, if everybody just quietly waits, then I close the Bible and just kind of say, well, they should be arriving soon to confirm the death, but this is very strange that it's not every day that somebody's just dead outside the church. Like, we get a lot of homeless people, but yeah, this is strange. I don't really have much else to say. I'm just like seem lost in my thoughts right now.
DJ, give us a physical once over of Tobias. What does he look like as he enters the scene?
So Tobias is about 6'3", about a skin tone darker than I am. Has a natural afro, a beard that's not like Santa Claus length, but it's not super well kept. He tends to slouch when he's not in situations where he's physically exerting himself, so he looks a little bit shorter than he is. He also kind of subconsciously does this to make Rory feel better because they tend to roll together. And on the same token, Tobias tends to be pretty polite and pretty reverent. So if anybody is going to like check Rory coming into the church because he has a cigar and be like, yo, put that shit away, it is probably going to be Tobias coming into the door.
And what does Tobias do when he is not at the gym or hanging out with Rory?
Generally speaking, either working or trying to organize. And so after getting out of prison, he's still trying to work on organizing the workers in the Old Town area. and he
Mhm.
also does odd jobs for local art dealer and several other locals. That's everything from sweeping and mopping the gym, just kind of earn his keep there a little bit, to running errands, bodyguard work, just whatever he can kind of get his hands on since he's gotten out, because he's not been out for that long.
Gotcha.
And he's in about his mid, about 38, but he's not super educated. He's got a high school diploma, dropped out of an AA program, so nothing super, like not a huge amount of education. So he doesn't have a whole lot of job prospects after he got out of the pen.
Right. Well, as you walk up to the table and see this other body, clearly a gangbanger up there on the table, just kind of spread out, you stop for a second because you recognize who this is. You used to do some little odd jobs and help out for the local bodega, and
Mhm.
you recognize this guy as Antonio, who is the son of the bodega owner. And it is very clear that he is dead and beaten to a pulp.
Can I have a once over of him using my first aid skill, see if I can glean any more details as to what might have happened to him?
Yeah, roll me an investigate. And you can add whichever tags you need to roll.
All right, so that's time in the pen. And how do I do that roll again?
So when you hit execute move, you can add +1 if you're only using one tag as well.
Can
So you use
I
basic first aid.
assist?
Yeah, absolutely you can. So you use basic first aid, and you're using are you using any other tags out of that?
Once, I mean, I feel like once the best for the people can also be applicable here, because this
Okay.
is like something that's gang related and it's like close to him. So I just click execute move.
Yep, and then add 2, and then Kyle, you said you wish to throw a point of help in.
I said,
Sorry, Roy.
oh, you're good. I was going to use my boxing coach tag for him, and because I feel like if he's been beaten, I can probably tell something about how he was beaten.
Absolutely. All right, so give me a +3. So hit execute move, and add 3 to the roll.
Custom modifier 3.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
All right, so you get a
What does
10,
I get?
which means you get 3 clues. So you get to ask me 3 questions that I get to answer for you.
Okay, so he's been beaten to a pulp. Where is the most heavy damage?
Looks like it's around his torso. When you kind of take a look at it, you realize it looks like there are no teeth marks, but you could swear that it looks like the imprint of like a muzzle or jaws like latched around his torso at some point.
Is there any signs of a weapon of any kind, like any stab wounds, any open wounds, anything like that?
Does not appear to be any open wounds. It all looks to be bruises.
And are there any bite marks anywhere else that I can ascertain, or is it just the torso?
You can kind of like see on his legs where it looks like there are other marks that don't necessarily look like bite marks. In fact, they look like something might have been wrapped around his legs and pulled or like yanked tight, like maybe a rope. But you don't really see like fiber burns or like but it kind of has that very red, angry look of like maybe a rope burn.
Yo, come look at this. And I'll show them the place on the torso where it looks almost like something might have bitten him, even though there weren't puncture wounds, so it didn't bite through the skin. And
Is
I don't
it know, human sized?
The bite marks, no, it looks like it came from the muzzle of something. Like it's almost like a wolf or dog shape, like, but no
Yeah.
teeth marks.
Yeah, she used the word muzzle when she was describing it to me. So yeah, it's like some kind of animal, and it's what it looks like, but not an animal with teeth, because any animal that would have bitten this hard would have gone through the skin. And then check out this weird mark around his leg. It almost looks like a rope burn, but there's no sign of any ropes or string or anything.
Kind of observing it all, I'm like, that's not good.
Did y'all?
And
Go ahead, Father.
I was just thinking, is there anything that any of us would have encountered? Particularly, I don't know if this would be something like if I'd have experience with any weird mythos creatures or anything like that that would like look anything like this or not.
This is pretty new. This is still pretty new to you guys.
Okay.
You've not been doing this for too long. You're definitely sure that this is some sort of weird mythos creature. You know, this has to do with all of y'all's weird shit.
Mhm.
At this point, it's pretty obvious that this is, you know, something unnatural. And Rory, you also realize that this kid is from the same gang as your other friend.
So, look, this I know this kid not well, but you know, the bodega up the street, Antonio spot. This is his son, and I also know for a fact that he was messing around with the bricks. I don't know what exactly he did with them. I never, you know, don't ask, don't tell. It's my policy, but this could be gang related. Roy, you want to talk about what we found earlier?
Yeah, well, we got another gang member that was really scared, swore up and down he saw a ghost, and then he swore up and down he turned into a cat.
Which,
Did you say cat?
things.
Yes.
Did he say he saw a ghost and turned into a cat?
Yeah, he said he wanted to get out of there, and he was concentrating on getting out of there so hard he just turned into a cat.
And he wasn't on drugs?
Maybe.
As far as we know.
He says no, but
Did he say where this happened?
just down the block a few.
I mean,
We should probably talk to this kid and figure out what happened.
he's sleeping it off at the gym right now, but maybe
Sure.
later.
Yeah.
Lucius kind of interrupts and kind of says, "Hey guys, I found this note, this piece of paper crumpled up when I was going for his wallet. It's some poem. Do you guys know anything about this?"
Okay, first we're gonna come back to you going through his wallet, but when we
I didn't know who it was. I know it's Antonio before you did.
You know,
so when I did get the kid laid down at the gym, this piece of paper fell out of his pocket or out of his hand, maybe, but it looked almost like lines of poetry, which is not. These kids aren't out here reading poetry. It was weird.
And when you look at the both pieces, you realize that they are the same script.
do they fit together?
They do not seem to fit together. No. But this does. So let's have a little quick flashback, real quick. Father Williams, your character is grew up in a cult, correct?
Yes.
So, what would your teenage or early teenage emo years would have been like growing up in a cult?
So it was a lot of kind of brainwashing, and usually that means a lot of physical hard labor. So it's a very long days to try to burn you out. but it was also like weird stuff since the cult I was involved in was a lot more strange. So there was probably tracking down weird, obscure things, both like physical things and just like looking through lots of tones. They're like, hey, we need you to find this specific phrase. Here's a giant library. Find this one sentence exactly in a book. And you're just like, oh my God, I got to find this one sentence in all these books. Awesome.
And so you kind of stop for a second when you look at both of these together, and you have this like almost like memory unlock of being down there working on all these books, and the brother that was kind of overlooking you has turned on a record player, and this incredibly haunting female voice and this very slow and almost strange music that goes on, and you remember just being filled with immense levels of sadness. Like even for you on a normal day, this music just seemed to invoke some sort of like deep resonance within you. You don't have a clear picture of like what the words were, but the music is familiar, and now the music kind of has attached itself to these lyrics in your head that are on the paper. You're still not sure what it might be, but you have the idea that maybe this is a song of some sort.
I kind of, while this is processing in my head, you probably actually see me physically start to cry, and you're very confused, the rest of you in the room, as I'm like almost kind of in a trance-like state, and like actually physically start crying. But it's like I'm not like showing emotions on my face. I'm kind of like bland, passive face, but you see like streams of tears coming down my eyes.
And as he is crying, and you're all just kind of standing there going, what is going on? The sound of a police siren and a car pulling into the parking lot hits your ears, and probably a little later for you, Tobias, considering your hearing is pretty shitty. But you definitely recognize as the door to the church kind of slams open, and this small, probably 5'2" Hispanic woman walks in the door. You guys have all had run-ins with this woman before. Her name is Detective Rodriguez, and she is involved in just about everything in Old Town. And you know immediately that she does not take any of this crap lightly. So as she kicks in the door kind of and sees you guys standing there, and she's like, she gives you a look. She looks at the body on the table. She gives you all a look, and she's like, all right. There's no coincidence that the four of you are here. What in the hell is going on?
Great, detective. And you?
Oh,
She kind of looks at you and like confused for a second, and then looks at everyone else like.
Roy will like slick back his thinning hair, and Detective Rodriguez, it is such an honor for you to grace us with your presence today. How are you doing? How's your mom and them?
Enough bullshit, Rory. What the hell is going on?
Now, Detective, I have no clue what's going on. I was just paying my respects to, I have no clue.
She'll look at Lucius for a second, completely skip over him, and to look at Father Williams, and she'll say, someone with some idea of what's going on. What is, are you crying?
I'm still kind of just looking at this, and I look up to her for a second, and I lock eyes, and in a very not my normal voice, I repeat, little white flowers will never awaken him, and say something really weird, and then I just kind of snap to it. This young man, he was dead outside the church. We found him.
Well, she looks down at the corpse for the first time and she sighs and she says, "You found him where?"
And it's like next to the old oak tree. He was leaning up against it. He was already there. Lucius found him, actually.
And she'll kind of give Lucius a side eye and she'll go, Um, do we know who this is? Do you have any idea how he got there? And she
All right.
starts
Lucius
taking out a
jumps
notebook
up.
and
Hands the wallet with the ID. Say, I found this on him,
mm.
and just hands it over.
she'll
Not
give you a
realizing how
glance
awkward that
again.
was.
And she'll take a
Yeah.
look and she'll go, "Oh shit." Okay, okay. So you just found the body. Why are you two here? And she'll look over at Tobias and Rory.
All right.
Um,
So what happened was, and at that point, Tobias will recount the story to Detective Rodriguez about not telling her the kid is still at the gym, but letting her know about the kid at the gym, and then us coming here and finding like these pieces of paper.
She sighs and she goes, "Okay, so we've got some more." Oh, please don't let it. Please don't let us be getting into this trouble again. You.
Again?
All right. All right. Listen, you need to write down your story. Let's get it to the cops over here, and a couple other cops are coming in to like do the thing. And she goes, "Don't leave town. I'll have some questions for you in another day or two. You're not under arrest. You're not under suspects or anything. I just need more details." And she storms out the door.
he'll call after. Detective, you're always welcome at my gym. I give a discount for police.
She doesn't even acknowledge. And at that point, the detectives the police kind of come over and get your stories down and everything, and the medical coroner comes over, starts looking at the body, just kind of there. You see a couple times, especially when they get to like the bite marks and everything, just kind of like pause and like that's weird. But they get him bundled up and they get him off to the hospital. It takes about 30 minutes or so. So what is y'all's next move?
I think it would be smart to find this kid, since the church probably has better. I probably have I have a lot of homeless people that are in the area, so I have like a
Mhm.
little bit of a sleeping area. And I suggest well, why don't we bring him to the church and let him sleep over here, and we can get him some food and stuff. We have a kitchen here, and then figure out what's going on with this kid, because he's clearly tied into this.
Absolutely. All right, so let's break here for about 5 minutes, get something to drink, and we'll come back and we'll finish up.
Sounds good.
All right.
2.
All right. So as you guys are getting ready to leave the church, you get a text message, Tobias. All right. So you have basically two employers. You have Liana, who is our fifth character that is not here yet, and you have her brother Dorian.
Okay.
Liana is cold and very clear, but not an awful person. Dorian, on the other hand, is, well, he's not a guy you like very much. So how does he come up in your phone?
Just the name Dorian with a cash emoji next to it because the check clears.
So you get a text from him and it says, we got some extra duty for you and your friends if you're interesting. Dad says it'll be worth a lot of money.
No punctuation, no capitalization, anything. I'll just reply, go on.
He'll say, whenever you're finished, whatever you're doing, head over to the gallery.
Hey, Dorian says his pop's got a job for us over the gallery. You in?
And you know that when his dad, who is the head of the Lazaro family, has a job, it usually entails a good bit of money. And it's usually very interesting, and it usually has to do with the weirder side of things.
Lazaro, you know he's good for it.
Yeah, he's good for it.
Kind of in the middle of something.
I mean, obviously, once we clear our current situation, I say that once we get our boy over here, I feel like we could leave him here at the church and it'll be all right. I think once we get that situated and can have a quick conversation with him, then we're checking out. Plus, considering this happened twice tonight, it might be a lead for us. Could be connected. But
Yeah.
it's not a coincidence.
Coincidences aren't real. It's usually linked somehow.
Neither is money, yet here we are.
So you guys make your way back over to Rory's gym. What's the name of the gym, Rory?
It is called Atlas Gym.
Atlas Gym. All right. Of course it is. So you head over. Your people have got the shop. There's not really. It's getting pretty late. There's not really too many people there. Just a couple, like a couple guys hitting the bags late at night. doing their routines. They pay you a little extra money to get like the midnight shift. Be open a little later. And as you get in, everybody just kind of like stops and looks at you for a minute, and the one guy goes, "Hey, boss, how's it going?"
I'm fine. Where's Mia? Where's everybody?
Oh, they're in back with the kid.
Ah, good. Nothing to see here. Keep going.
All right.
And you're pulling a little to the right. Tighten that shit up.
He'll kind of look at you a little sheepishly and then do exactly what you say. All right, so you guys head back to the back.
Yep. It is a fairly disheveled room, fairly large. It's got a couple of cots. For all the gruff exterior he has, he still has a soft spot in his heart. He lets in strays from time to time. I'm pretty sure John has a cot back there somewhere. And I'm assuming that I see Mia standing over him.
She is sitting down next to him, and it kind of looks like she is she's got a towel and she's kind of like, rubbing it over his head. He seems to be very restlessly asleep. And she kind of looks up at you and she goes, I was just about to text you. This is getting he just like tried to get up and I don't know what, but he was humming in his sleep, and then the next thing I know, he was I thought he was going to hurt himself. I really, really did.
Huh. That's odd. Um, hey, Father, what was that tune you were humming earlier?
What tune? Legitimately, my character does not know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Great. It's just great. Okay.
It's Mia. Is there any? Do you remember what it sounded like when he was humming? It's been a night.
It was kind of it was just sad. That's all I can. It just sounded so sad.
Yep.
Like country sad or like blues sad?
Like she kind of looks at you, and you knowing a little bit of her past and what her family is like, she goes, it felt like being at home. That kind of sad.
It's got a bit same song.
Yeah, sounds like it. All right. Well,
When you said the boy was trying to hurt himself, what do you mean?
I mean, look, like, you know how we have those box cutters back there that we use, when we got to break things down and everything. He just in his sleep just lunged for it. Like, I had to fight it out of his hand. And he wasn't trying to attack anybody or anything. He had it, and he was just sort of just holding it and staring at it. It was the weirdest thing. I was able to take it out of his hands and get him back to the bed, and after that, there wasn't anything else. But like in that moment, I just knew. I knew he was going to hurt himself.
And you've not been able to wake him? Like he didn't
No, he's
wake
still
up?
asleep. I was a little worried about waking him up. He's had a really hard night.
Well, we're gonna have to wake him to move him. I don't want to carry him. Plus, I'd probably wake him anyways. So
Most
I
likely.
think we best do this gently. Do you have any like smelling salts or anything that you could use?
Oh, I'm sure
Yes.
you did. Yeah.
I have a lot of things. He's like, oh, let's try this first. He pulls out a dirty gym towel from like one of the random little laundries. This is about as good as smelling salts, I promise. He waves it under the kid's nose.
And yeah, the kid's eyes pop wide open, and he kind of lets out this short little.
What the hell, man? How many times have I told you about that?
This is your basket. I don't know what you're talking about.
And he just kind of like the kid's like darting around. He sees everybody here, and he's like, "What the, Mr. Roy? What's going on?"
You okay, kid? Seems like you gotten the losing end of a street fight, sir.
He kind of shakes his head and he goes, "Yeah, I mean, it just feels like a dream. Like it's so weird, but I'm okay. I'm good. I need to." He goes, "I need to get back because I don't know what happened to the rest of the guys. I don't know what, like where."
Who else was there, kid?
He lists off a couple of names. Antonio's one of the ones that he lists off, but he lists off rattles off a couple of names. He's like, "There's like 8 of us, and like I don't know what happened to them. I ran like."
Good.
Oh, such a
Best thing you did.
bitch.
Well,
You win
I'll
some,
make
you
sure
lose
he's sitting down and still has water. Look, if you didn't run, you'd have fought whatever gang you were fighting. And, well, Antonio stayed, and Antonio didn't make it.
He kind of
That's
looks.
what could have happened to you.
He looks kind of wide-eyed, and he said, "What? Like,
Look, man, you win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day.
because it
And
wasn't a, it wasn't another gang. I'm telling you, it was a girl. It was a ghost. She was a ghost girl. I know that sounds crazy. Like, why would anyone believe me that it was a ghost girl? But I saw her. She was made out of like shadows, and she had these like monsters with her. Like, that's why I had to get out of there. I had to get out of there.
all right, look, a couple things need to happen, okay? We need to get you out of here and somewhere that's safer than where we're at. And we need you to tell us exactly what happened.
He kind of nods and he goes, "Okay, so like you remember how like 3 or 4 months ago we got into that like turf war situation with all the Lazaro guys, and like they accused us of taking their spots and we accused them of sabotaging our spots, and things just got like out of hand, and then that there was that firebomb at the Golden Flower bodega, like that was months ago. That was months ago. But like we've been they said they weren't going to do anything else, but like we didn't believe them. We don't who believes those guys? Like they've got all the money in the world. Of course they're going to try to run us out. So we've been patrolling. We've been like guarding our space, like making sure like nobody can get in there. And so that's what we do. Like we just kind of wander around, make sure nobody's messing with our junk, and making sure they don't have any of their hired thugs coming in. And well, we were making like our normal round, and then we just we we heard this song, and then the shadows got darker, like the lights, the street lights dimmed out for a second, and when they came back up there was this girl. I mean, she was like 13, 14 years old, maybe. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I'm pretty sure she was in like a hospital gown or something, like on those like crime shows or whatever. And then these like things came out of the shadows and just started attacking everybody, and I just I had to get away, and I ran, and when I started running, the next thing I knew, I was on 4 feet, and I was a cat. Isn't that isn't that the fucking weirdest thing? A cat? Like, what the hell? And the next thing I knew, I was here in your place, Mr. Rory, and yeah, like that's it. I swear to God, that's what happened. I know it's gonna put me in the loony bin or whatever, but like, and I if the cops ask, I ain't saying shit, but that's what happened.
Smart idea, kid. Look, now I know what Mama said. There's more things out there than heaven and earth than we ever know. And some people aren't ready for all that, so you might want to keep that low. But look, you're not the first one that's seen something in this city. You ain't gonna be the last either.
Do you think? Do you think the Lazaro Center after us? Like, is that something they would do? Like, why?
I mean, maybe, but you have to cause them enough trouble. I mean,
With all
a
due
couple of
respect,
disruption here.
yeah, but like Roy says, you ain't worth the time. or the effort it would take to do something like this. This is just weird.
And you guys know that, like, about 6 months ago, for about a 3-month period, there was definitely like a big turf war where the Bricks had kind of like stepped up to being more than just a street gang, and the Lazaros weren't happy with it. And there were a couple places where like everybody sort of ended up at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it escalated really quickly. And then there was a firebombing at a local flower shop, and 2 people were killed. And after that, everybody just kind of stood down. Like nobody wanted. When someone outside got hurt, everybody was like, "Okay, we're done with this. We're calling a ceasefire before too much attention gets drawn in." And so it has been kind of peaceful for the past couple months, but it's definitely been a rough time for everybody.
Now, did we know who the people were that died in the fire?
Yeah, they were just a local family that they didn't have, it was just a couple. They didn't have any kids or anything like that. They just had been there, they'd lived there their whole lives. So that's kind of why everybody.
Well, but do we know that if they have any ties to any of the families that we need to be worried about?
No, as far as you know, they were absolutely unconnected to anybody at any point, which I think is why it sparked such a big change in the community. When someone that was completely unaffiliated got hurt, they were like, "Oh, okay, we need to calm this down." And for your part, Rory, because you've worked with a couple of these kids, you know that like most of the kids in the Bricks aren't in it for the big stuff. Like they're not looking to get into like all the crazy stuff. They're just trying to get a place where they can, get some meals, get some off the streets, and have a community. They might have to rough some people up every once in a while, but that's what you do.
Well, I don't know, kid. Is that all you remember?
That's it. I got here and I wasn't a cat no more. And I just and he kind of looks up and he goes, "You don't think she can come here, do you? I mean, she's a ghost. Can she get in here? Could she get me?"
Nah. Like, I'm pretty sure that you just got in the way and she wasn't really after you. You were just in her way. I do get a question though. You did you did have a piece of paper that Tobias had. You still got that paper, Tobias?
I think Father Williams has both of them. Should be on you because we read them together.
He kind of pauses and is like, checks his pocket and pulls out the papers. He's like, "Oh, yeah, yes." Looks a little confused that he has these paper. Like he doesn't remember. It's like, yeah, and he just kind of hands it off.
Now, kid, do you remember anything about these pieces of paper? We had one of them in your pocket. It fell out while we were moving you back here.
He's like, "No, what?" He goes. He kind of looks at it. He goes, "No, what is this? Some like, is this some like Emily Dickinson shit? Like, I don't. This is like maybe. Nah, man. I studied that in like 10th grade. Yeah.
I remember. Trust me. But do you remember where you got it, or it just appeared in your hand?
I don't know, man. That's not. Nah, I don't. Nah, that's. Nah.
That's fine.
That's not me. That's not how I roll.
I got another
poetry shit's
question.
dumb. No offense, Father Williams. The Bible's fine. It's great. It's great. It's not bad poetry.
So glad you took the off with that one.
It speaks to you in a different way.
he just kind of nods and he's like realizing he hasn't been to church in a while, just kind of like puts his head down and goes, yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How
But
many
yeah, he's
guys
just,
were there?
what's that? I'm sorry.
How many of you were there?
There was like 8 of us.
So we have this slip of paper and this one off of Antonio's kid, right?
Yeah, I guess that's
So stands to reason that there's what, 6 more of these that maybe we can find them and figure out what the hell it means. If they all
Where
here and they just suddenly had these pieces of paper, then my thought would be that like all of them would have one. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me, but I mean, I'm just a simple boxer. Smarts aren't my strong suit.
where would they go if something bad happened to them?
I mean, he kind of looks at you and he goes, he kind of side eyes and he goes, well, I mean, I guess we go, we go back home. Like, and you get the idea that when he says home, he's not talking about like his parents' house. He's like, but I can't tell you guys where that is. That
Well,
I
see, here's your options. Look, either tell us, or Detective Rodriguez is going to find one of these other guys with the note, and then they're going to start looking for more people. And do you really want Rodriguez knocking your door down?
listen, I can't.
Well, it's either us or her.
But you've already on
All
our
right,
asses.
roll me
And
convince, and you can add any of your tags in that you think are applicable.
I'm probably gonna add like boxing teacher because I am his teacher, so I should be able to have a little bit of leeway with him. I'm actually gonna add tunnel vision because I'm kind of looking to try to get this thing done. If I can wrap this up, I can go on to the next job.
Okay. All right. Give
so
me
that's +2.
give me a roll then. +2. All right. You can give him a so you can pick a status. So what this is going to be is you're just going to give him a tier 2 status. You can phrase it anyway, but effectively it's going to make him more willing to do what you want him to do. And they're going to give in a little bit, but he's not going to like give up his own agenda completely. So what status do you want to give him?
I think that I'm going to give him the on shaky ground status.
Okay.
Because I feel like if he doesn't give me something, then I'm going to have to force.
And I've lost a
my
little
hand.
bit. I don't know if it's me, but I've lost a little bit of your audio, Aiden. Is anybody else? Can anybody else still hear him well?
he's fine to me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay. So yeah, he looks at you and he says, "Oh, all right, Mr. Rory. All right, look. We were over on Oak Street. That's where we ran into the girl, and like, I mean, if you're gonna find the guys, they'll be over by like the old crossroads. You know what I'm talking about? Out there by the docks. That's where like it's in that area.
Now I promise you, we're the only ones that's going to go out there and talk to him. Okay, we're not going to bring Rodriguez. We're not going to do into this. All right, your secret's safe with us. You don't have to worry. But I appreciate you
Give
telling me.
me 1 sec, guys. I'm sorry. I have completely lost audio on Aiden. Can anybody else talk real quick?
Check 1 2.
Yeah, hold on a second. I have totally lost audio. Give me 1 sec.
All right. So what is
There we
everybody
go.
thinking?
Now I got it.
Oh,
Sorry
never
about
mind.
that, guys. Okay. So what was the last thing that you said, Aiden? I'm sorry.
Look, kid, you told me, and we're gonna go look at it. We're not gonna bring detective in any of this. You got my word, okay? Don't worry. We're not gonna go crashing parties. We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Okay? We want to keep you safe and the other kids safe.
And now we can take you over. Father Williams offered to push up the church, be a place to lay low, get some food in your belly, and it'll keep you safe until we can get this whole thing blown over.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Like I said, you can find the guys by the docks. If they're gonna talk to you at all, they'll see you before you see them, and they'll come out to talk to you. I can't give you any more than that, Mr. Rory. I'm sorry.
I get it, man. You gotta have your own secrets. Everybody does.
He goes, yeah, they're gonna fucking kill me. They're gonna fucking kill me. All right. So, is there any more that we want to do in this scene, or do we want to move? Let's go ahead and jump.
We're good to jump, I think.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
ready.
Yeah, I
to
think
go.
so. Let's
You
do
guys
it.
drop the kid off at the church and get him settled in. And then you head off. Are you going to the docks or are you going to the site of the attack?
Which one's closer?
The attack is definitely closer.
Then we just hit. I'd say we'd hit there first, but if it's closer,
I agree.
Okay. So yeah, Oak Street is this little quiet section of town, kind of away from. It's sort of in between the docks and the ghetto. Um, most people don't go through there very often, especially this late at night. It's kind of quiet. There's a couple street lights. There's a lot of graffiti all around. How do you guys get there? First of all, are you driving? Are you walking? What are we doing? Who has a vehicle? Does anybody have a vehicle or are we walking?
you're not gonna fit on my bike. That's not gonna work.
And it is still raining, not super hard, but enough to, be uncomfortably chilly.
I mean, I think I have this old 2-door beater, paid like $200 for, out back. It kind of runs.
So they hear it as you're pulling up to the alleyway. They hear it sputtering and clunking, and yeah, you pull up and it's still raining pretty. Like it's a steady drizzle. And how do you guys want to start checking this place out?
I think first glance is just to do visual inspection. Just look for anything that looks out of place that would just strike as odd before we go into more involved.
All right. So right now, what you're seeing is just it's a long alleyway that sort of cuts between one side towards the dock. So the kids probably came from the other side, and we're moving along. Just kind of to walk in their way. You can see where it looks like some trash cans and some boxes have been knocked over and scattered around. There doesn't appear to be anything like just on cursory view of like any boxes or anything like that. But it definitely looks like there's been something has gone on. Excuse me, in this alleyway.
Okay, so we just see like signs that there was an event, but we have no like blood, no.
You'd have to get. I mean, like from just a cursory like looking down the alleyway, you can't really tell if there's any blood or anything like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I say Lucius would be the first to step out, and not realizing he might be in danger at all, he just starts walking towards what he might think is the scene of the crime.
Okay. So give me. Are you trying to be sneaky at all, or are you just like walking, just cockily walking down the sidewalk?
Cockily. I just wanted to say
Give
that.
yeah, give me an investigate as you're looking around.
Here we go.
All right, nice. Okay, so you get a clue. You get to ask me use that clue to ask me a single question.
Um, can I phone a friend, ask for help on this? On what would be a good question to ask?
Yeah, you can ask the group. That's for sure. That's fine.
Yeah, guys. Based off of what we've heard, what are we exactly looking for to ask? Um, signs of
Mm,
struggle, signs of
I would say the most useful at this point would be tracks, like where somebody went, so we'd have a better sense of where they went from here.
I like it.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause
we
they-
know where the kids went. We know where the gang went. We don't know where the girl came or where she gone.
All right, so you're looking for specific tracks.
Yeah, and maybe even tracks or signs that lead towards ghostly presence or something that would be left behind in the struggle. Uh,
So it's
there at
raining,
that scene.
which makes it a lot harder for you to pull this off. There's just a lot of in a lot of evidence like footprints or anything or blood would have been washed away just because it's been raining steadily for the past couple hours since this happened. But you can see where like there's clearly like the tennis shoe footprints of these kids running through, and then you just happen to like look and see that like in this little caked in corner of mud on the side, there is a barefoot footprint. And you gather it's probably, kid size, teenager size, maybe a little smaller than a teenager, but it's definitely a bare footprint.
I just feel like Lucius would pull out his shoe off his shoe and like compare it to his foot, and he's like, "Yeah, it's smaller than mine. It's a kid's."
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Totally.
you
By the way, you read that right.
And as you're sitting there, just kind of like investigating this this footprint, a shadow kind of like covers the light as you're looking at it, and there are 5 guys standing there, um, definitely from wearing their bricks attire. These aren't the kids though. The kids have all gone back home. These guys look like they're the older generation. They're all wielding various weapons, and the leader of them looks up and he says, "I think it's about time you move on."
kid threatening me. Really?
He goes, "It's not a threat, Grandpa."
Yeah, well, you don't know who I am, do you?
I don't give a shit. You need to get off our property. This is our turf, and you need to back off, and you need to tell those Lazaros that they can get the fuck out of here.
Look here, young blood. This has nothing to do with the Lazaros, and we don't want no trouble.
Well, it's a funny place to be if you didn't want any trouble.
Sir, we were just one of your younger members we found dead, and we were trying to find out why he showed up on my doorsteps. And we figured we were clued in that something happened in this area and that you would probably be interested in knowing what happened to your younger member. And we are just trying to help figure out what happened here and what's going on. We're not trying to cause any problems.
All right, give me a convince roll.
Okay. Convince. And then I feel like I have an Old Town advantage because everybody knows me. They know who I am. And I don't.
I can.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, maybe.
I figured, yeah, Old Town advantage, and then I can do I fear no mortal evil, and like a punk
Okay.
kid gangster doesn't. I have no problems like trying to talk this person
No,
down.
go ahead. All right, go ahead and roll. +2. All right. That's an 8. So you can either choose to give them a status, a tier 2 status to be more willing to do what you want, or they give in a little, but they also protect their own agenda. Which one? Or will you pick a status and then they decide what they're gonna do?
Okay, so I'm going to give him the status respectful of the Lord. God damn it! So they're going to listen to a man of God.
Okay.
And at least they're going to respect my position.
So yeah, he'll be taken aback a little bit. And he's like, "Look, man, Father Williams, we don't want any more trouble. You just need to go home, okay? You need to go home. This doesn't involve you. This ain't your business. This is not something a godly man should be getting involved in."
Wait, they know you, but they don't know me? What the hell?
Everybody knows me. It's
I'm a
okay.
celebrity.
One of the other guys calls up and he says, "Man, fuck this. I don't care who he is. Let's run these assholes off and figure out where the kids went." And he kind of starts moving forward a bit.
Oh, you think you're a big boy? Come on, test your luck.
We want the same thing. We've got to go through you to get it. That's what it's going to be.
I probably put up my like. Are we really gonna fight again, guys? Come on. And
Yes.
But I'm not one that's like. I don't get into the physical confrontation. I'm more like trying to be like, let's calm down. But then I could see them like running past me and like clocking him. It's like, well, okay.
So Rory, I need you to make me a face danger roll as this kid comes running up at you, or kid, I guess he's probably in his like late 20s, comes running up at you with a baseball bat.
All right. And then I add my tags at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with heavy right hand.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you that they have you're at a -2 for this roll because they do have the home field. They do have a home court advantage here, so you'll be at a -2 to start the roll.
Okay. I'm going to do heavy right hand, and I'm also going to use. I think I have one of those, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take my cigar and flick it in the guy's face as he's coming towards me.
Okay, make the roll
To kind of distract him.
So it'll be you 2 tags, so it'll be a straight roll.
Yeah, so I'm at evens. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Who? Yeah, you go to flick your cigar at him, and like he just steps to the side because he knows like you're standing in a spot that's a little bit uneven. So when you go to flick your cigar, like your footing isn't exactly where you want it to be. And the next thing you know, this baseball bat just collides with the side of your head. So you're going to take the status dazed 2.
You say dazed and confused?
Yeah. Well, dazed and confused works, but it's a status of 2. So that's going to go in your statuses. So on your status sheet, you can just write in and dazed 2, and that's going to leave you at a -2 for pretty much like all the applicable stats that are going to the things that are going to happen. So now I'm going to turn it over to you. There's no real initiative in this. We kind of just go with what we feel like everybody kind of gets a turn, and we just kind of go in with how it feels like it should go with people doing things. So who wants to take the next crack, as this guy clearly just took the initiative to go ahead?
I feel Lucius wants to step up and kind of assert some odd authority, and try to use words, because he's not a fighter, so he's going to try to get ahead of this.
Okay, so he's going to use a convince roll.
Yeah, he's gonna try to convince. He's gonna stand up and say, guys, I know Antonio. We grew up together. He and I went through a lot of crap growing up, and this is the respect you give us. This is not right. Totally acting out of left field.
All
and
right.
I want to use my tag authoritative and talk my way out of anything.
Okay. So it'll be a +2. All right, nice. All right, so they already had a -2 tier, so now they get another one, and you can your target can choose either. So, what status are you giving them as a tier 2 status?
Maeve, I'm sorry, I don't even know the statuses right now. I'm
All right.
trying to look them up as we're going through it.
Yeah, so you can literally make it up. It's literally whatever you want to do. It's not necessarily important what it is outside of the flavor of it, but that it's another -2 to the status. Or it's another -2 status. So that will stack up and become a -3 status overall. So what do you want to call your fast talk? The way you convince them.
Forced respect.
Okay, forced respect.
They're
So
gonna
they'll have
respect
forced
us and-
respect 3 at the moment. So yeah, one of them, like the one that Father Williams had already spoken to, like he kind of stops and he looks and he goes, yeah, like yeah, no, no, yeah, no doubt, man. I get it, I get it. And he just kind of like is just sort of stunned. The other 3 are still coming on, but I think you've convinced him to sort of step down. Like he's confused. He doesn't know what the right move is at the moment. Who wants to go next?
Tobias will go next. Look now, enough is enough. We are after the same thing, and this fighting is not going to change shit but the bruises on your faces. And at this point, I will go for convince as well, or let me see if there's another. Yeah, convince is the.
Convince is the one. Yep. Okay.
And I will add big physical presence and terrifying when he wants to be.
Okay. All right, and that's going to bump up to an 11 because they've already had a status to put them in a -2. Yeah. What status do you wish to give? Do you wish to give them?
I mean, it's also thematic with my character's powers. Also shook.
Nice.
Yeah, the guy who went in on Rory is still kind of going away, but the rest of them are starting to back down. They're like, "Hey, man, maybe we should dude, they're big. Like, did you freaking see? Like, he hit that dude and he didn't even go down." So they're all like kind of backing off now. Like, holy shit, maybe we picked the wrong fight. This other dude is still just wailing on Rory though. So Rory, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try to get in a cheap shot and to get him off of me.
Okay. Give me a go toe to toe.
All right. I'm going to use heavy right hand and prideful because there's no way I'm going to let this snot-nosed brat take me down, and I know how to fight.
Okay.
So that negates my -2 to make it at 0, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Come on, dice, don't fail me now.
Oh, you go to swing in on him, and he just rung your bell real good. and it's like you're seeing a little bit double. The rain is kind of like got your feet a little slippery, and you sort of like the next thing you know, you land flat on your back, and this guy is on top of you. And he does not seem to be show any intention of stopping at this point. Father Williams, do you have a anything you want to do? As this guy is on, the other guys are running away, and this guy is just on top of your buddy, just putting the works on him.
So I think I'm gonna start using some powers because, like, I'm not much of a fight as far as physically fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to maneuver. I assume he's kind of like hovering over top of Rory. He's not really paying attention to me.
No, he is just pounding away.
And I'm going to go up and whisper in his ear. And I'm going to say, "Dearest, the shadows I live with are numberless."
All right.
And
Let's-
the intent is to, like, mentally screw with his head to kind of, like, basically make him very melancholy, very sad.
Okay. Do you want to put this as a convince, or do you want to put this as a change the game?
I think I'm changing the game because, yeah, I'm actually casting. I don't realize it, but I'm casting the spell that I've heard earlier,
No.
or kind of triggering
okay.
that ritual.
Absolutely.
So I'm
so
going to
what
use
tags are you putting into it?
Eldritch Knowledge and Forbidden Magic because this is very much
Okay.
magic and knowledge of that past.
Mm-hmm.
So change the game, execute.
All right, so you get 2 juice. So you can spend your juice to gain one to one the
Mhm.
effects of the tag. So you can create a story tag, you can give or reduce a status, or you can burn a power tag or story tag.
Okay. So I would probably just create a new tag in this case to kind of give everybody else an opening. And
Okay.
And he does very similar to what I was doing, where he seems like he goes into a daze temporarily, and he's like, you actually see him crying himself, and as he's just like hovering over Rory.
Okay. All right. So yeah, these so what do you want to call? We'll call this like despondent, despair. Is that the
Yeah, Despondent's good.
Okay. So yeah, like what does it look like? What does everyone else see as you're doing this? What does your invoking your ability look like?
So it's not a very flashy, but what you would probably, it wouldn't be so much what you see, it's what you hear. Because most of my stuff is spoken. Like everything I do spell-wise is spoken.
Mhm.
So you'd probably hear like this weird echoing of whispers, like how you kind of like ghost stories and stuff like that. You hear that like kind of echoing that just kind of illuminates or kind of bounces off of everything in everywhere in the area, and you would just hear that like these whispers subtly speaking, and you can't make out what it is though.
This guy like stops punching Rory, and he's just kind of like swaying. And at this point, Rory, you realize that there are like tears falling down his face. This is like ugly crying. There is snot coming out of his nose, which is right above your face, crying, and he just slumps off of you and kind of goes into the fetal position. And then the weirdest thing happens. As you whisper this spell and you kind of create this despondency, you hear almost an echoing hum. Like someone wordlessly singing this tune. This very sad and very melancholy and incredibly just deeply despondent song that seems to be playing almost as an echo, like a response and call almost to what Father Williams was doing. And then there's this quiet second where all you can hear is the rain, and the tension of it just sort of fades out. and you feel this like the depth of that sadness and despondence break as whatever it is moves away. And it is 10 o'clock, so that is where we are going to leave it for tonight. So first of all, we will start with a let me pull it up. We will start with a we'll just ask how you guys liked it. What do you think?
Very gritty, very noir. Interesting so far.
Yeah, definitely attention grabbing. Also, excellent use of song.
Thank you. I can't I don't want to give it away yet, like if you know what specifically the song is, but I'm very
Yeah.
Right.
I'm very
I
excited
actually
about
used the lyrics from the song.
it. Wonderful.
And it's
wonderful.
actually when you did that, Kyle, that I was like, that's what it is. I knew I'd heard it.
Yeah.
But you said that I
Yeah.
was like, that. Yep.
No,
It's
it's
Taylor
absolutely
Swift, right?
Yeah, it's Taylor Swift. Yep.
It's 100% Taylor Swift. You've
I was
nailed
thinking
it
Kesha,
on the
but
head.
whatever.
So, and I'm sorry, now I'm being a terrible GM because I am not looking up on the book here. 202, that's where it is. So at the end of each session, we have what is called the geeking out during the credits session. So each player can answer one or more of the following questions. How has the crew grown this session? You can either recover a crew power tag or mark attention on a crew theme. We didn't burn any tags, but we can mark attention on one of our crew's themes. So if you look at your crew themes on your thing, we have our mystery identity, the cleanup crew. Why is it always Old Town? So if one of you wants to tackle that, like how has the crew grown in this beginning session?
I think we really showed quickly, like, that we have a bond, and we did so without having to go into like a huge amount of like super nitty gritty details about how that happened. We just like we know each other and we managed to work harmoniously, which is something
Okay.
we've been working on because our communication has been lacking in the past.
Absolutely, no, I agree with it. So yeah, just mark one attention. We'll just mark one attention on your cleanup crew, and we'll explain how those go when we get further to it. But that is kind of like your leveling up, and it works for your crew as well as your crew tags as well as your personal tags. So if somebody wants to take either which character has the most meaningful action with your character this session, so you guys can kind of work through that, or you could also alternately answer which of your themes is under the most strain. Um, so what you would just kind of do is like, are any if you feel like any of your themes are being pressured after this session, it was kind of a short session, so that's not necessarily applicable. But the middle question, I definitely think each of you could probably answer. So if anybody wants to take it.
You say how has the team grown? Is that what you said?
No, this one is which character had the most meaningful interaction with your character in this session. You can either give them a help point or a hurt point.
Well, I think Father helped me out because he saved my ass, and Rory wouldn't necessarily come out and say it, but he knows that he'd still get his ass handed to him if it wasn't for Father stepping in.
All right, so you want to add a help towards Father Williams on your sheet. Father Williams, what is which character had the most meaningful interaction with you in this session? Or do you think one of your themes is kind of under strain at the moment?
I may think it may be the theme is under strain because I have a couple that fit fairly well, but Savior of the Streets, this is very much turf war fighting between gangs, and I'm trying to like help all the people and like try to clean up the streets, like keep it healthy, keep it
Mm-hmm.
problem free as least as best it can be. So I feel like I'm going to have a lot of strain here, especially when the main theme, it seems to be a turf war between two gangs.
Absolutely. All right. So under your turf war, mark 1 level of crack.
Okay.
All right. Lucius, which of those questions, which character had the most meaningful interaction, or do you have a theme that is feeling if it's under strain?
I think I'd be leaning more towards the character interaction, and I
Okay.
think Father Williams just being around, and I think he brings Lucius on the personality from neutral to neutral good. Having that and the interaction of him going out and about, going up and above to help, and when Lucius otherwise wouldn't have cared that there was somebody sleeping next to a tree. It was like, oh yeah, there's someone here, and he just kind of kept on his own way. He's
Mhm.
oblivious to the world, and I think that helps ground him. So it'd probably be towards him.
Okay. And Tobias, what about you?
So I'm looking at my teams here, trying to see if any of them I feel like are really under pressure. Right now, I don't feel like they are, so I'm going to lean more towards character interaction, and I think that's going to be um, a help towards Rory
Okay.
because of how we interacted today, and because of the fact that they didn't mention it explicitly, but when he talks about taking in strays, a bit of background is that Rory's gym is actually where Tobias first crashed when he got out of prison.
Okay. Absolutely. That's perfect. All right. That's the session, and we'll pick it up next week or in 2 weeks, and hopefully we will have Amy with us to play Liana. I can't wait to see what she brings to this investigation. So we'll be signing off, guys, and thanks for watching if you watched, and thanks for playing, guys.
All right.
All right.
See you
Good
guys.
night, y'all.